Today, we're going on a journey through time, but also a journey of loss. We're going to be looking at some amazing animals that are no longer with us, animals that are considered extinct. Number 10. Two-lake wallaby. All right, let's start with the Lake Eyre wobbler. Imagine a graceful kangaroo-like creature just under 1 meter tall, living in the grasslands of southeastern Australia. That was the wobbler, discovered in 1846. Sadly, due to rapid human expansion, their numbers dropped dramatically. By the 1920s, there were very few left. There was an attempt to save them with a breeding program, but it failed. The last wobbler anyone saw in the wild was in 1924, with the last captive animal dying in 1931. This is a photo of the very last wobbler, a lonely female in captivity. Number 9. Quagga. Next up is the quagga, a subspecies of zebra. Unlike most zebras, the quagga had stripes only on the front half of its body, and they were brown and white instead of black and white. They lived in South Africa, but sadly, Dutch and British colonists ruthlessly hunted them, believing there were many more than there actually were. This photo here is one of the last quaggas ever taken, in the Amsterdam Zoo in 1883. They thought they could just get another one, but they didn't realize it was the last of its kind. With the death of this quagga, the entire subspecies vanished. Today, there are efforts to bring them back through breeding programs, which is pretty amazing. Number 8. Passenger pigeon. Let's move to North America and look at the passenger pigeon. This bird holds a tragic record. It went from being the most numerous bird species on Earth to extinct in just a few decades. European settlers clearing forests for settlements and excessive hunting for food completely destroyed their habitat and populations. This is Martha, the last passenger pigeon. This photo was taken in 1914, and with her death, the passenger pigeon disappeared forever. Their loss had a big impact on the ecosystems of North America. Number 7. Carolina parakeet. Another American bird we lost is the Carolina parakeet. It was the only parrot native to the eastern plains of North America. They likely numbered in the millions and fed on fruits and seeds. Sadly, a combination of factors led to their demise. They were hunted for their feathers in the pet trade, and the seeds they ate from cocklebur plants might have been poisonous, making them toxic to predators. There's also evidence that their numbers were already declining naturally. By the time Europeans arrived and destroyed their forests, they were restricted to Florida. This picture here is of Incas, the last Carolina parakeet, taken in 1900. Incredibly, he was kept in the same cage that housed Martha, the last passenger pigeon. Incas died in 1918, just 4 years after Martha. Number 6. Paradise parrot. Speaking of parrots, let's look at the paradise parrot of Eastern Australia. These beautiful birds lived in pairs or small family groups. There's some debate about why they went extinct. It could have been due to cattle grazing, land clearing, hunting for the pet trade, or predation by introduced cats and dogs. Whatever the reason, by 1927, just 5 years after this photo was taken, they were gone. Number 5. Barbary lion. The Barbary lion was a powerful lion that lived in the deserts of North Africa for thousands of years. These are likely the lions you see in ancient Roman fights and the ones that inspired the Egyptian goddess Sekhmet. They were relentlessly hunted and seen as a symbol of strength and bravery. Despite all this pressure, they survived into the 20th century. But with widespread use of firearms and bounties offered for killing them, the last Barbary lion was shot in the 1960s. This photo, taken from an airplane, is believed to be the last one ever captured. Interestingly, recent genetic research suggests that Barbary lions might not be completely extinct. They might be part of a larger lion population across North Africa and Asia. Number 4. Bubal hartebeest. The Bubal hartebeest was the first hartebeest ever described by science. It had a unique sand-colored fur that helped it blend into the deserts of North Africa. Sadly, their main predator, the Barbary lion, wasn't the only threat. They were also hunted by humans. Especially after French colonization of Algeria in the 1830s, whole herds were massacred. By the early 1900s, they were only found in Morocco and Algeria. This picture here is the last known photo of a bouble hartebeest, taken in Paris in 1922. Just 2 years later, the last wild one was shot in Morocco, and the bouble hartebeest was gone forever. Number 3. Caribbean monk seal. Next is the Caribbean monk seal, the only seal native to the Gulf of Mexico. They were once relatively common, hanging out in groups of 30 or even 100. They were easy targets for hunters because they were slow on land and curious around people. Sadly, they were hunted for their blubber and meat, and their populations plummeted. By the 1850s, they were already rare. This photo shows some of the last monk seals ever seen. These 4 were captured for the New York Aquarium in 1952. The last confirmed sighting of a Caribbean monk seal was in 1952 off the coast of Colombia. Number 2. Golden toad. Imagine a tiny toad only found in a small mountain rainforest area. That was the golden toad of Costa Rica. Discovered in 1966, they were known for their massive breeding gatherings. These pictures here show some of the last healthy groups. Unfortunately, a combination of factors likely led to their extinction. A major drought and a deadly amphibian fungus that arrived in Costa Rica in the late 1980s are believed to be the main culprits. The last confirmed sighting of a golden toad was in 1989. Despite searches throughout the 1990s, they were declared extinct in 2004. Number 1. Gastric brooding frog. Another victim of the amphibian chytrid fungus is the gastric brooding frog. There were 2 species, both found in tiny ranges of eastern Australia. They were unique because they raised their young inside their stomachs. Sadly, just like the golden toad, they vanished in the 1980s, likely due to the fungus. Deforestation and introduced species might have also played a role. Interestingly, there are efforts underway to bring them back through a process called de-extinction. That wraps up our exploration of some incredible animals lost to time. It's a powerful reminder of the delicate balance in our ecosystems and the importance of conservation. If you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments below. What extinct creature would you like to learn more about next? And while you're there, consider hitting that like button to show some love for the channel. It really helps keep these educational videos coming your way. Thanks for joining me on All About Nature today. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the wonders of the natural world.